What's up, Facebook tribe? No, cut, take two. What's up, my tribal folk? Miss Iraka here. I am filming from the car today, but I'm driving safe. I'm hands free. I got my eyes on the road, so please forgive the distracted look. I will glance down if I get a light. But I gotta get this conversation off of my chest. I'm a little slow recording because I've had an eventful weekend, but I wanted to get this one off my chest. So on Facebook, my homeboy Reddy Krueger, Reddy Krueger, like Freddy Krueger. You should check him out. He's raising artists, musical artists up in Birmingham. He's producing and making beats and stuff like that. And I'm listening to him doing my ride out. This is what I call my ride out. So when I'm in my car, I like to get in the car and just drive for hours. Sometimes when I drop the kids off, most days when I drop the kids off from school, I probably take an hour drive. On Saturdays or Sundays when I do my grocery shopping, I do a ride out. I try to steal as many of them as I can because it's a part of my self-care regime. But these ride outs are so everything for me. Like when I'm starting to feel anxious or when I'm starting to feel closed in, I could get in my car and I could just ride. That's something that's just really helping me just, feel free, feel elevated. But I'm listening to Reddy Krueger's live that he's doing. And he put that song, Tonio song, Anniversary. So he cut it down to a musical and it's looped. And it's going for a long time. And I'm like just riding, enjoying myself, like enjoying this music and just feeling happy and feeling good. So that's what I mean when I said, I'm listening to music that have an emotional impact, makes me feel good, brings back good memories. But I'm listening to this anniversary song, and it's interesting because we all went to elementary, middle, and high school together, and he's recording about the song Anniversary. That song came out our 7th year. It was the jam our 7th grade year. So it was just funny that he would pick that song because I totally identify with that moment in time that we were in 1993, 94, whenever it came out. But that makes me feel good. So this video originally was about I was originally going to talk about self-care and burnout. And I started recording a video, but it just didn't feel right. Like I don't think I'm ready to talk about that yet. That's a heavy lift for me. So I'm realizing I'm not going to push myself harder than I need to for this vlog. But what I would like to talk about today is something that my cousin was talking to me about. My big cousin. I hadn't talked to her in a very long time. She's back in Atlanta, and we just caught up on Facebook Messenger at 1 a.m, and we talked for 2 hours. But she was putting me on some real good games. So again, your mentors are all around you. Who are you seeking counsel from? I know she's wise. I know she always got my best interest at heart. She an OG, so she know the code, and she always break it down raw, and that's how I need it. But she had told me, she was like, you're entering a place right now where you're starting to rediscover who Erica is. And when she said that, I couldn't agree more, because I've been feeling like that. I've been feeling like I'm at a place where I'm relearning myself. Like when you're married and you have kids and you have a career and you have family, there's a lot of different elements kind of you're giving yourself to. And in this giving of yourself, although it's good and it's the noble thing to do, sometimes we could give the wrong pieces of ourselves away. We could give away those very things that make you you. We could give them away. You put your kids first, you put your husband first, you putting everybody before yourself. If you're putting somebody in front of yourself, that means that somebody got to step back. So as playing the role that I've been playing, I've been the one that allowed myself, or chose to step back on more occasions than I needed to. And what happens when you start stepping back is you start losing parts of yourself. And when you lose so many parts of yourself, you could actually get to the point where you don't even know yourself anymore. You have a hard time remembering your old self. And I got to that place, and I didn't, I couldn't remember what made me happy. I couldn't remember what made me laugh. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't happy. I was just in this machine just going every day. And the way she put it, that was just so transformative for me, was that she said, remember when you were young, and think about those things that made you happy. Think about those things that made you laugh, and start doing that. So if it's, going shopping, start doing that. If it's hanging out with your girls, start doing that. If it's, doing your favorite hobby, start doing that. Whatever it is that makes you happy, makes you smile, make you feel joy, make you laugh, do those things. And so I started thinking back on, like, before I was ever a wife, before I was ever a mother, even before I was ever in my career, which was most of my adult life, what were the things that made me happy? What were the things that I enjoyed doing? And I really, it sounds so obvious, but I hadn't really thought about it. And so she also continues to say, I want you to start making a list. I want you to make a list. I want you to make a list of all those things that made you happy, make you happy. And those things that make you feel especially happy, circle them. But she was like, start, remembering yourself, remembering who you were, and start doing those things that make you happy. And I was like thinking, and I was like, what were the things that made me happy before I was who I am now? I enjoyed spending time with God. I used to be really good reading the Bible. I was very active in my church homes. I'm one of those people that goes to, belongs to a lot of different churches, because I've lived in a lot of different places. It's a word for that. I'm gonna put it in the chats. I can't remember. I just learned that word, actually. But I used to spend time with God. I used to, try to get to know God, try to establish a relationship with God, build a relationship with God. And to be quite honest, the work that I did in my 20s, and getting to know God, and, even to my young life, is what carried me to the place that I'm at now. So now I'm at a place where I need to start getting some more maturity with my relationship, and start being more of a practitioner, because I've gotten away from that in the last 10, 11 years. So that was one thing I thought about, and that made me happy. And another thing that made me happy was being around my sisters. Like, I've never had a whole bunch of close people around me at one time, like inner circle, especially in Birmingham, because I've always had my sisters. So even through school, I only had maybe 2 key female friends. So it was those 2 key female friends and my sisters, and a gang of dudes, because we were cool with the dudes, because our neighbor, who's also our play big brother, had a whole bunch of guy friends. So they grew up knowing us since we were little girls. Our elementary school guy friends, they know we just cool. So I've always had a big circle of associates around me, but I never had a lot of close inner circle friends, because my sisters were always there. And I think back on growing up and in my 20s, when was I happiest? When I would come home to Birmingham and be with my sisters, just kicking it, and it brought me joy. And I've been doing a lot of that lately in the last year and a half, and just having that support system around me has just been everything to my development. And then another thing that used to make me happy and bring me joy, I used to really Birmingham had this really cool teenage club / dance scene in the 90s. I remember as early as 92, they used to have this skating rink called Skate Valley. And at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, it'd be kids there 12 and up, 10 and up, all the way through high school. At 10 o'clock on Saturday nights, skates come off, and it turned into a dance party. We used to be in there, those dance, if you know about Skate Valley 1990 to 94 dance parties on Saturday nights. You know what I'm talking about. But that led to us being like participants in the high school club / dance scene. So we used to be all over Birmingham. If there was a party going on all through high school, I had a car when I was 16, so I used to be like the transportation. My mom used to let my little sister them come with me. They 14 years old, so I had all their friends who I was with too. But we used to go to the club and we used to dance. Like, we used to dance our tails off. And the only rule was we had to clean the house. The house had to be clean in order for us to be able to go. She gave us our allowance like once a month. So if we didn't have money, like, we weren't going to be able to ask her the money to pay for it. So we used to nickel up so we could pay for all our girls to get in. You know, fees would be like $5. And sometimes it'll be free if you get in before a certain time. So we used to try to catch that free. But we used to go on them dance, and we used to dance. And the last rule was you had to be home by 11 o'clock. You had to be home. At first it was 10 o'clock, and then we negotiated her down to 11 o'clock sometime later when we showed that we were responsible with the 10 o'clock. I had that type of mama. And so we would go to these clubs and we would party. But I just remember that being so fun. So even in my 20s, you know, fast forwarding out of my 20s, like, I used to still like to dance and go to the club and party and have a good time with my girls. And then I think when I turned about 24, 25, that's when I got into like understanding lounges, cigar bars, restaurants, like really good restaurants, really good food, like enjoying company around fellowship in that way. And I used to love to do that. And so in the last 10 years, I've gotten away from that. Like, I used to be the person that knew I should have started a blog. Before YouTube became a big thing, I should have started a social commentary blog on The Vibe that was in Atlanta in 2024. Like, I used to know all the spots. I used to know, like, I was plugged in. And it's like, because I studied, I used to get this paper called The Black and White, and it tell you every event, every bar, every party that's going on in the city of Atlanta that week. And I used to read it every week. And this was before group text was a thing. I used to text message everybody and tell them where we were going to meet up at whatever night. It could be like Atlanta had Monday through Sunday activities all the time, and I preferred the underground scene. So like the local scene and the underground scene. I didn't really care for the mainstream scene. So I was like one of the type of people that look for like hidden nuggets, like, you know, the jewels, the local gemstones. Like, that's what I was looking for, and that was like a hobby of mine that I really enjoyed, but I've gotten away from that. So it's like, you know, fast forward into now, like, I need to start back. You know, I'm rebuilding my relationship with God. I'm, you know, spending time with my sisters. And now I'm at a place, and COVID sucks because it really pours a rain on this parade. But, like, I really want to get to the point where I start socializing again. Like, I want to get out and meet people and talk to people and reconnect with old friends, old people that I used to have, who used to be a part of my life in whatever way. And so I just think that, you know, writing down a list of what brings you joy and doing those things, like, I think that was really wise counsel. And so I'm going to apply that. So my goal for tonight is to sit down with my journal and write down the things that make me happy and really start doing an inventory and a self-assessment on my, you know, my happy spot. Because at the end of the day, nobody can make you happy. Your spouse can't make you happy. Your friends, your family can't make you happy. Like, you are the captain of your fate. You are the only one who can make you happy. So having joy and being at peace with yourself is the first step of finding happiness. You won't be able to really tap into happiness until you're okay with yourself and make yourself happy. And so that's where I'm at right now. You know, that's all I really got to give. I appreciate y'all for riding this ride with me. You got a chance to see me on one of my little trips. I'm going to Sam's to get grocery shopping. I'm not plugging Sam's, but that's where I shop. But I'm appreciating you guys. You know, this is helpful for me. I'm growing and developing every way. I'm looking forward to listening to myself and hearing if I'm actually going on tangents or if I'm making sense. But I'm really learning through this process, and I appreciate you guys for going through this journey with me. If you like my content, feel free to subscribe, click, share, like, Also, leave comments. Excuse that car. We're in Birmingham. The people like loud cars in the South. Um, Feel free to leave a comment or hit me up on Instagram. I'm Miss Eraka on Instagram as well. So, like, if you want to get into dialogue, see what I'm up to in other ways, and maybe see some pictures of me posing, trying to look cute, like, that's where you'll get that at. But here, you're getting it raw and uncut. So, thank you for checking in. I enjoyed this time together, and let's catch up tomorrow. Bye.